Hello everybody and welcome back again to Let's Play Disco Elysium. So, in the previous episode we actually made a bit of progress. We got the body down from the tree, we did some preliminary investigation of the body, and if I remember correctly we got like a bunch of new tasks and some other stuff, as you can see from all these orange dots in my icon bar. So I feel I should take a look at all of this first before I decide what to do next. For example, I did level up, so I can invest like a new skill point, or potentially more than one. Is this the number of skill points I have? 3? The obvious question is, what do I want to improve? I mean, I feel I should improve something I'm currently not good at. But then again, I only have 1 point in Encyclopedia and 1 in Volition, so I feel at the moment anything is as good as anything else. But I kind of want to improve some skills that are, good to have as a detective, because, I'm a detective. Hand-eye coordination, ready aim fire, perception, see, hear and smell everything, let no detail go unnoticed. I mean, this seems useful as a detective. Reaction speed, not sure about that. Savoir-faire, sneak under the noses, done with immense panache. I have no idea what that means. Master machines, pick locks and pockets. Straighten your back, keep your poker face. I kinda like perception, to be honest. Take the blows, don't let the world kill you. I mean, this might come in handy as well at some point. Shrug off the pain, they'll have to hurt you more. Flex powerful muscles, enjoy healthy organs. Yeah, I don't know, I feel I should focus more on like the intellectual and analytical skills, because it's kind of the preset that I picked, so I should lean into those strengths, but I don't want to be exclusively about, intellect and perception is actually part of motorics, but yeah, the dreaded Inland Empire. Hunches and gut feelings, dreams in waking life. Yeah, this isn't really me. And since my character here is more of an analytical character, I think Inland Empire has to wait. I do remember, however, that there was like a skill check a while ago that needed more empathy. Understand others, work your mirror neurons. Which I feel is actually not a bad skill to have as a detective, If you interrogate someone and you have some empathy, you might get better results. So let's put a point into empathy. There we go. And I think I'll actually go with perception. Let no detail go unnoticed. Let's level this up as well. Yeah, I don't need more encyclopedia. I kind of want to have this as well. Practice the art of persuasion, enjoy rigorous intellectual discourse. Play the actor, lie and detect lies. I mean, this one isn't bad either. Understand creativity, see art in the world. Reconstruct crime scenes, make laws of physics work for the law. Again, this is actually a useful skill to have as a detective. But I think I'm going to save my final skill point in case I need it for like a skill check. So let's leave it at that for the time being. And instead, I got a new item, allegedly. Oh, it's this, okay. Instant photo of tattoos.
An intricate web of blue lines stretches across the torso of the hanged man, from the right shoulder to the solar plexus. Each time the lines intersect, a small white star is formed in their crossing. Hundreds of fading asterisks riddle his skin. Their concentration is highest around his heart.
Interesting.
The pattern still kind of has an ethnic feel to it, but nothing familiar.
Who are you? What's the meaning of this tattoo? Yes, that's a good question.
For you to discover. You've gotten as far as you will without assistance.
Right.
Someone who knows about history could tell you.
Well, who would that be? Someone who knows about history. Anyway, who are you, unknown person?
Gone.
I mean, it's not a wrong answer, but not a helpful one either. Okay, that's the photo. Lieutenant Kitsuragi snapped this photo of the hanged man's tattoos. It displays the intricate web of blue lines stretching across his torso. You have to admit, it looks quite cool. Alright. And yeah, I guess that's all I got at the moment. Oh boy, look at all of these new tasks that I got. Okay, let's have a look at it. Interview the Wild Pines rep. Find the representative of the logistics company who owns the harbor and ask her about the murder. She should be around here somewhere. Well, apparently I already know that it's a woman, so there's that. Interview the union boss. Enter the harbor and seek an audience with the local Débardeurs union leader, Evra Claire. You need to ask him about the murder in his district. Seek an audience. That sounds very important. Perform field autopsy. The hanged man is down. Perform a closer inspection of his body, arriving at cause of death. This will need a form to be filled in 3 parts. Okay, I feel this is something I should do next. I mean, I worked very hard to get the body down so I could perform this autopsy, so I think this should be my next task. Run the number on the victim's armor. You discovered a serial number on the victim's ceramic armor boots. Run the number using Lieutenant Kitsuragi's shortwave in his motor carriage. Use Kim shortwave to run a serial number. Again, this seems to be a very practical thing I can do without many problems. Where's the rest of the armor? The hanged man's armor seems to be missing. Find out what happened to it. The kid throwing rocks at the corpse seems to be a good place to start. Ask him about the body first. Ask Kuno what he knows. Do I really have to? Can I not just completely ignore these brats? The victim's tattoos. You have a photo of the hanged man's tattoos. Maybe someone can decipher them, tell you what they mean. You should probably talk to about 2 people about them for this. Okay, is this a proper sentence? Talk to about 2 people about them for this. Anyway, ask around about tattoos' possible meaning. Apparently I'm supposed to ask someone who understands history. Getting the hanged man's boots. Why again did I accept this quest? In order to succeed, 1, the body has to be down. Check. 2, autopsy has to be finished. Haven't done that yet. And Kim has to be absent. He wouldn't approve. This will be devilishly tricky, so don't beat yourself up if you manage to send the body to processing without getting hold of the boots. So this doesn't even seem to be all that important, right? So maybe I'm just going to ignore that. And yeah, we finished getting the body down. Also, I never really looked at my profile over here. Name unknown. Rank unknown. I mean, I'm reasonably certain that my first name is Harry, so there's that. Superstar Cop 2, Apocalypse Cop 1, Sorry Cop 2, Boring Cop 1, Communist 2, Fascist 0, Ultra-Liberal 0, Moralist 1, Good Cop, Bad Cop 6, Honor 0. People killed 3, cases solved 216, years in service 18 years. Okay, I mean, this is the information I got from my badge, and I guess this is based on choices I made and replies I gave. But why do I have 6 points in good cop and bad cop, and what exactly is it? I mean, usually you are either the good cop or the bad cop, but not both at once, so I'm not sure what this is supposed to mean. But okay, interesting. And did anything happen here? Right, we finished this last time. This one is still going. Oh, I got a new one. Ace is low. Temporary research bonus +1 empathy towards Kim Kitsuragi. I mean, I wouldn't mind having that, to be honest. Doesn't take that long either. The Insulindian Civil War was not the first war to see the use of hybrid airships on both sides, but it was the coolest. For an entire decade, folded multi-rotor fighters got into dogfights above Revachol, Ozon, Semenine and the Arcade Islands, spitting death at one another. They flew over sandy beaches and shot each other out of the azure sky, crashing into city blocks and setting island forests ablaze. The Ace is Low was a custom among revolutionary brigades performed after multiple kills. Lieutenant Kitsuragi seems fond of it. Why? I don't know, maybe he used to fly one of these. I mean, he clearly is familiar with that custom. Okay, I can't internalize it because I don't have an open slot. How do I unlock it? Spend 1 skill point to unlock new slot. Oh, I see. Yeah, maybe once I level up I will use another skill point for this. Caustic Echo. Temporary research bonus +1 volition power move. Research time 10 hours. Good on you to have thrown that slip to the wind and walked away, saying, "Not today, Dark One. I don't need your keepsakes. I am not curious. Let the past disintegrate. Let its ink wash off into the Bay of Martinez. You're through with it. There is no terrifying splash of stomach acid to fill you with dread. No caustic lack of air. You haven't lost anything incredibly precious, too precious to name. You got a shit on a stick. All you need to do is keep the shit balanced on the stick and everything will be fine." Right, I got this one when I threw the card away. So the question is, do I really want to internalize this, since apparently I tried so hard to forget about it? I think I would prefer to get this one first. But at the moment I can't internalize anything anyway, so let's just skip that. Yeah, I guess we will go and perform an autopsy, huh? How about that?
The rotting man lies on his side with his eyes looking straight through you. The belt is still around his neck. His body is supine and open to intrusion. By Autopsy, the lieutenant adjusts his glasses and takes a deep breath.
First, what exactly is a field autopsy? We gotta start with the absolute basics, huh? Try to remove the dead man's boots. We've already tried to do that and it didn't go well. Right, I can't use this because I need more Inland Empire, so never mind. So, what exactly is a field autopsy?
Come on, officer. You know what a field autopsy is. You've done 100 of them.
Yeah, but I don't remember, if you recall. I don't remember anything.
What you do know is, at 18.9 kilometers, the dormant shield volcano, Corpus Muindi, is the world's highest summit, and the failure of the 38 single, Epui Descent, to crack the top 20 was the death knell of disco. But what a field autopsy is, you have no idea.
Yeah, it's quite amazing that he completely forgot everything about himself and his job, but he still has knowledge of all this useless trivia. Why don't you know? What use are you? Well, he's certainly more useful than you at the moment, Harry. Clap your gloved hands, let's go in there. Yeah, let's fake it until we make it, as always.
There truly is a time for everything, even for yellow gardening gloves. However, they are lacking hygienically. I suggest you get in there in limited capacity.
What does that mean? Alright, I don't know. What do you mean? Yes.
I mean when I need you to. Until then, I should handle physical contact, and you should take notes.
Okay, that's actually fine with me. We just fill this in, right? Show him the red field autopsy form in your ledger. Right, I do have the proper form for this.
That's right.
Open your ledger at the field autopsy form. And let's ignore the boots.
The dead man stares in silence as you crack open the ledger. The bright red paper is covered in boxes and lists, describing the condition of his skin and organs in 3 parts. Above those, an 11-field info form needs filling out first. It begins with...
Alright, we have a form, so how hard can it be? Begin. First assistant. Let's jump ahead to the 3-part summary. I fear that Kim won't approve.
No. Let's fill out the info form first.
Yeah, I thought so. Okay, assistant.
That's you.
Right. Only the first question and I already don't know the answer. Yeah, that's a problem. I still don't know my name. I mean, I'm reasonably certain that my first name is Harry, but apparently so far the game doesn't really acknowledge this revelation. So, yeah, I don't know my name, sorry.
Not an energetic start to an autopsy, I agree.
Yeah, that's a problem.
Pig's messed up. Kuno feels pity.
I don't need your pity.
Just leave it empty, officer.
Right.
The corpse lies there, indifferent to your retrograde amnesia. The next box says...
Coroner's case number.
KK57-0803.0815.
Okay, and how did you arrive at that number?
KK equals Kim Kitsuragi.
Oh.
57 equals Precinct 57, followed by his date 0803 and time of arrival 0815 on the scene. He's indexed the case after himself, not you.
Yeah, I mean, it's kinda hard to index it after myself since I don't know my initials, right?
That's because he doesn't want to bring up the messy question of your initials.
Exactly. Shouldn't we file the coroner's case under me? Technically, I arrived at the scene before you. Yeah, but since I still don't know my name, I can't give him my initials. Plus, we are only the assistant, so I think it's fair to file it under his initials. So let's just write it down.
Next.
Name.
NA. Next.
Date of birth.
NA.
Age.
Roughly 50.
Try 40. The damage is so extensive, it's better to err on the young side.
So you think because of all the decay and damage, he might look older than he is. That actually makes a lot of sense. I'm gonna write approximately 42 or 50. I mean, come on, I gotta go for 42 here, right? The answer to everything.
He nods.
And I mean, he doesn't disapprove of it, so I guess we'll go with that. Race?
Mondial.
Fair to olive-skinned, from the Isola of Mwindi. This is as vague as it gets. You might as well say whitish.
Well, it's something.
The pudgy mess of curdled meat looks neither mondial nor anything other.
So what about sex?
Fucky, fucky!
The little monster exclaims energetically. Yes, little monster is a good description.
Male.
Pigs can have sex?
Right, fucky. How old are you, 12? Right, male. Right, pig's gonna have sex. Nope, I'm not going to let those brats distract me again. That didn't go well for me the last time. I'm going to focus on the case. I'm going to write down male.
Nor does he look male, with his pregnant belly and indistinguishable face.
But I guess we assume that he's male anyway, right? So what about date of death?
We're still going with March 4th, 51.
So that's like 4 days ago? I guess that works out.
What else? 9. Body identified by is non-applicable. 10. Case number is the same as the coroner's case.
KK 57 0503 0815 listens motionless, with the cargo belt still around his neck. Only one box remains.
Evidence of treatment.
None. At least not after the initial examination.
What exactly is treatment anyway? Yeah, that's a good question. Agreed, no treatment, I'm not sure. Yeah, what exactly is treatment?
Interfering with the body's position or wounds post-mortem.
Well, I mean, technically, we probably interfered with the body when we shot him down from the tree. Agreed, no treatment, I'm not so sure. And yeah, how do we know that there was no, interfering with him post-mortem?
A silent nod. The lieutenant places his gloved hand on the corpse's chest, as if in preparation. Your central nervous system recognizes this gesture. It's the stations of the breath. Ecclesiastic, religious in nature, a holdout from pre-DeLorean burial rites. It takes him 2 seconds to perform. Then,
We should start the post-mortem.
Okay, so he just performed some kind of religious ritual. But what about my choice that I picked here that I'm not sure about the treatment? I guess he just ignored that. Okay.
the corpse cannot feel Kim's hand on his chest. It no longer meaningfully interacts with its surroundings. A thicket of boxes and lists on red copier paper tries to answer why.
Alright, we got a bunch of summaries here. Let's start with the external examination.
Clothes. The deceased wears armored boots and white briefs. The make of the briefs is Babrodine, I think. Let's see.
He turns the body onto its side to check the underwear label.
See, it's happening.
I'm not sure what you think it's happening, but I'm sure it's not.
Babrodine, yes. Inexpensive. Size M. Color white.
The disappointment is palpable. The red-haired thing was expecting something more lurid.
Clearly.
The boots are ceramic, vitreous enamel. They are fused to his skin from blood flowing downward post-mortem. Removal of the boots is left for processing.
You know, the more that I hear about these boots, the more convinced I am that I don't want to have these boots.
It would be clever of you to omit the boots altogether, sire. If you are to keep them for yourself, as you ought to, you have deserved them more than anyone else.
But do I want them? When am I gonna get them? Omit the boots, write it down. I mean, come on. They are boots that have been on a decaying corpse for days. I realize that our detective is a little bit run down and has seen better days, but come on, have some dignity. Don't wear a dead guy's boots that are full of, like, bodily post-mortem fluids or whatever. Okay, so I guess I can omit the boots, because if I decide to steal them, then nobody will notice that they are missing because they're not in the report. Yeah, I don't know. I think I don't want the boots. The dead guy has been wearing them. I stay maybe true to my disco sneakers here or whatever I'm currently wearing. So let's just write it down.
The boot has a serial number. It's E50.100.100. The lines between the plates are in the shape of the alphanumerical. The number is purposefully concealed by the design.
And I mean, the serial number actually might be useful, so it's probably better not to omit the boots.
Tattoos.
He stands up, feet planted on either side of the body.
The upper torso is covered in a single, continuous tattoo, resembling a national pattern. It reaches from the right shoulder to the heart. The ink is blue and white.
Alright, we already took a photo of that.
The assistant has a color photograph of the markings, to be added to the case files as document A1. The photo is taken on the scene, using a Trigat Mini.
Right.
The deceased has a belt for airlifting cargo around his neck, tied with a hangman's knot. Color, yellow. Length, 3 meters. There is a buckle on the other end.
I'm glad that Kim is doing all the heavy lifting here. I just have to write down what he's saying.
Well-nourished, athletically built, measuring 1.8 meters. Generally consistent with age 42. Preservation is good. Ambient temperature below freezing.
Write it down.
Body hair is light brown. Distribution is consistent with age. The deceased had male pattern baldness. Hair is combed back, short.
Touch the corpse hair before moving on. Write it down. Maybe this is my opportunity to become a little bit more proactive. Let's touch the corpse's hair.
The hair under your latex fingers feels cold to touch, wet.
Stroke his hair gently. That's kind of creepy. But sure, let's quote-unquote investigate further.
The stench is suffocating. Strands of dark brown hair start sticking to the latex of the glove, like thread off a rag doll's head. There must be brilliantine in there. He's combed his hair back with oil.
Brilliantine? Is that the oil that he used? Keep petting him. Write it down, adding the brilliantine. What happens if I keep petting him? Is Kim going to get creeped out by it?
More hair sticks to the glove. Hair off the rain-soaked head of a dead man. There are bumps and dips on the skull below. An alien landscape.
An alien landscape.
For a fraction of a second you feel something. An irregularity. But then it's gone. Too minute to register in your mind.
But I mean, I did register it. What was that? A bump? I'm not sure if that is significant. Maybe he just has bumpy skin.
What was what? Brilliantine. There's brilliantine in his hair.
Okay, apparently I already forgot about it. I'm not sure if the brilliantine is of any significance, but I'm going to write it down.
Lividity is consistent with hanging. The head is congested. Contusions are present on the head, chest, and thighs. Consistent with stones thrown post-mortem. Low velocity.
Fucking low velocity? You think Kuno doesn't know what you're talking about? Velocity was fucking max.
Yeah, I don't know. If Kim says it was low velocity, he's probably right.
Talking shit about Kuno's velocity.
In addition, there are bite marks on the face, scalp, and chest. Consistent with predation.
Predation? You mean a predator? Animal did this? How? He was on a tree. Write down, but a man for high velocity. I think I'm going to take Kim's word over Kuno's word here. So it probably wasn't high velocity.
Ligature mark.
The lieutenant produces a small folding knife. With the other hand pulling on the belt, he starts cutting into the polyester. The stench is horrid. After a while, it's obvious the material cannot be cut.
The steel wiring. There's too much of it. We need to remove the belt so we can get to the ligature mark.
You got just the right tool for that. The chain cutters.
Right. Oh yeah, I'm prepared. Pet the chain cutters. Good thing we got these chain cutters. Pull out the rubber-gripped cutters. Yes, let's do it.
Always good to think ahead. Now...
He points to the rope squeezing the dead man's neck.
We need to cut the belt to see the ligature mark below. Carefully, with as much precision as you can.
I will try to use all the precision that I have.
See, my pig is gonna fuck his head off.
I am not sure what you expect me to do here, but I'm not going to cut off his head.
No, he ain't. Your pig's a boring fuck.
Yes, I'm Kuno's pig, I agree. I'm not your pig, Kuno. Look for a good spot to cut. Oh, physical instrument 2. This is a red check, it cannot be retried. Again, I think I'm not going to let the kids distract me, because that didn't really do well for me the last time. But let's maybe look for a good spot to cut.
The belt is equally tight around the whole circumference of his neck. swelling over their edges like white bread rising from the east. The knot is the weak spot. The chain cutters fit in there. Steady now, like a flower arranger. 2 cuts and it should come loose.
I mean, sounds easy enough, and my chances have increased, but I mean, don't I have to, like, physically equip the chain cutters into my hand? I mean, it doesn't say that I'm missing, like, the proper tool, and I can't currently exit the conversation, so I guess he automatically equipped it. Alright, let's roll the dice.
After some
Yes.
deliberation, you sink the cutters into the knot tying the belt together. You squeeze the rubber handles together, sweat forming on your brow.
Let's press down.
Snap! The knot is slashed. Another cut and the belt falls apart like a flower bouquet, revealing the dead man's neck and the dark red ligature mark around it.
The rope rises to a point, leaving a gap in the ligature mark. The suspension point is in the back of the neck.
The lieutenant has kneeled closer, running his finger along the dark red groove until there's a gap.
Hemorrhaging is observed on the skin, above and below the ligature mark. The mark is well pronounced, consistent with a drop from 1 or 1.5 meters.
Well, that's probably because he fell down when we shot the belt.
Chest is intact, normal contour. Abdomen is protuberant, pelvis intact, genitalia...
He pulls down the man's underpants.
No! Let's get out and see!
I kinda knew that Kuno has something to say about that.
I fucking knew it!
Genitalia is male and unremarkable. No evidence of injury.
Well, let's see if he's right about that.
The dead man's penis is average-sized, congested from the downward collection of blood. The testicles are uneven in length, hanging underneath. The genitalia is greenish. Marbling is present around the crotch.
Yeah, now that I think about this, this may actually be too much info. Let's just write it down and move on.
Back is symmetrical and intact. Upper and lower extremities are intact, but asymmetrical. There are combat injuries on the right hand, thigh, and hip.
Okay, I feel that's interesting.
In addition, I see smaller, residual scars, too numerous to count, covering about 30% of his skin.
Okay, but if they're scars, they would be older, right?
From wounds sustained over 2, maybe
Right.
more decades, dispersal and accumulation indicates long and active combat duty.
This scarring is extensive, way more than a law official's. Are we sure about that?
We have a real museum here. Of battles, wars.
Okay, so he may have been like a veteran, for example.
Last item, hands.
He takes a man's right hand in his, inspects it, then moves on to the other hand. Well, let's do the same, I suppose.
The hand feels heavy, filled with decay liquids, like it's ready to explode if squeezed hard enough. You're suddenly repulsed, so much so you feel compelled to drop it.
Maybe for the better.
Hands are clean. No sign of injury from struggling.
But I mean, didn't you just mention that there were like combat injuries? Or are these like old injuries as well? It's kind of hard to tell. So were we expecting any?
I was. Maybe I'm just not seeing them. Honestly, this stench is making it hard for me to think at the moment.
Right.
Ooh. That's all for the external. Well done. What next?
Well, now it's going to get really interesting because apparently now we are going to perform some internal examination.
Central nervous system. I have nothing. Do you have anything on this man's central nervous system?
Probably not.
Of course, there is a moral to be drawn from it. A moral to this story.
If I may add the moral of this story. Well, what would the moral of the story be?
What would that be?
He looks at you inquisitively.
The dead man looks, too, with barely contained excitement to hear the moral of his story.
The brain is very vulnerable to compromises in its blood supply. Yeah, I guess that's the moral of the story.
I think that may well be the moral of every story, officer.
The lieutenant grins. Well, at least he's slightly amused by my story. I'll write not applicable anyway.
Good. Musculoskeletal. Purge fluid is coming from the mouth. Not injury related. Eyes and tongue protuberant. Hyoid bone. Let's see.
With his eyes almost closed, the lieutenant puts his hand on the dead man's throat and begins to massage it. Gently, a rotting smell erupts from the mouth. Purge fluid runs down his lips, black and viscous.
Great.
You hear cracks as the lieutenant moves his sharp fingers inside the flesh, like the creaking of an old house at night.
Great.
Yeah, jack that fucker off!
Oh, shut up.
The hyoid bone is fractured. The rest of the musculoskeletal system is intact. Unremarkable.
Alright, I guess I'll write it down.
Respiratory system.
Back hunched as if in prayer, he begins to pry open the dead man's jaws. He stops to exert more force. Both hands are used.
Oral cavity shows no lesions. The victim has received dental implants, possibly after a combat wound. Mouth swollen. Hemorrhaging present in mucosa of the lips and mouth.
I guess I'll have a look inside myself.
No scream, no sigh of relief rises from the darkness inside. It's humid there. Sickly sweet air, unlike anything living. You feel like you're about to throw up again, straight in that mouth of his.
That's no good. Do I want to look deeper inside anyway? Let's try it.
It's hard.
Oh no!
Once more, you taste stomach acid in the back of your throat. A contraction. Your throat pumps a little something from your stomach and into your mouth. You're forced to swallow, just to keep looking.
Yeah, sometimes if you're getting too curious, it can get dangerous. I should have taken that warning here.
Inside, you see darkness. Just a mess of meat and darkness.
Alright, so I don't even get anything out of this.
Hemorrhaging present in mucus.
The lieutenant repeats impatiently. He lets go of the jaws, the mouth snaps shut before you. Okay, let's write it down.
Hepatobiliary. NA.
Why, don't we have anything? Apparently not.
Are you a hepatobiliary expert?
I would guess no. He looks at the corpse's stomach with a mixture of tiredness and disgust.
Hepato means liver, and biliary, the gallbladder and bile ducts.
Well, am I an expert on those things?
Nothing in your alcohol-soaked memory directs to having forensic expertise on either one.
Yeah, my liver is probably more acquainted with alcohol than I'm acquainted with my liver. So, no, I'm not an expert.
Neither am I.
Alright, that's it?
That's it.
Okay, not applicable.
Same for toxicology and serology. NA.
Both of it?
Unless you have untapped reservoirs of knowledge there.
I mean, I know a lot of trivia, but usually it's not all that useful.
Reservoirs? No, but do they take obscure trivia and odd tidbits?
I mean, if it would be the right kind of trivia, would obscure tidbits and odd trivia fit the fields? The completionist in me wonders if there's something else we could do. Yeah, I don't know. I have lots of trivia for you.
No.
Kim doesn't care. Yeah, is there anything else we could do?
Like a toxicology screening? At this stage, I doubt processing will find anything, even if he was brimming with cocaine. But still, you should add a request.
Alright, I guess I'll do that. Not applicable and add toxicology requested.
Cardiovascular. The body exhibits heavy lividity. Blood has gathered in the hands, feet, and neck. Hypostasis is visually consistent with the hanging.
Alright.
Gastrointestinal.
He breathes a sigh of approaching relief. This is the last field on the list. He looks around to the ground, the pool of feces there.
This will do.
Digested semi-solid food in stomach. Voila.
He touches the corpse's bloated lower abdomen briefly. Write it down, omit the voila. Write it down, keep the voila. I'm totally going to keep it.
What's next on the list?
Just one more point, description of injuries.
Let's see. We have bite marks, contusions on the head and chest, and a ligature mark encircling the neck. You'll need 3 fields. Leave a 4th one too.
Be thorough if you want maximum results.
Okay, I guess I will start with the bite marks.
Head, chest, and scalp bite mark injuries. Predation by birds has caused damage to the body. Odontologist does not need to be consulted.
Okay, so it was a bird that kind of started to eat his face after he died. Okay, that makes sense.
And your opinion, officer?
Opinion, fatal injury, non-fatal post-mortem. Yeah, I don't think the birds killed him. This was clearly post-mortem.
Agreed. Next injury?
Let's have a look at the contusions.
So, the scalp bleeds from a post-mortem head injury, a stone. The injury does not have the rim of an early inflammatory response. The perpetrator on the scene has confessed to causing it post-mortem.
At maximum velocity, fucko!
I don't think so.
Has confessed to causing it at maximum velocity.
Well, he has confessed. I'm not sure about the velocity, but anyway.
Coagulated blood sticks to his scalp and chest, where the countless stones have hit the dead man. Beneath, the description of injury. 2 boxes.
Fatal injury, non-fatal post-mortem. I mean, I kind of wish it would be Kuno who killed this guy so we could arrest him, but I'm pretty sure it wasn't him and he just threw the stones at the dead body, so post-mortem.
Right. Next.
What about the ligature mark?
A dark red abraded ligature mark encircling the neck, with a gap on the nape measuring, let's say, 7 centimeters. The hyoid bone is fractured, the cervical column intact. I see hemorrhaging on the skin, above and below the ligature mark. Depth of the mark, 1 centimeter. No signs of clawing on the neck.
Alright.
Below the note, 2 customary boxes wait to be ticked. The man's head jerks to the side. The ring around his neck is visible. Think for a moment. There's time. Don't rush.
Okay, I mean, the most obvious choice is that this is the fatal injury. He was hung from a tree and he died, right? But are we sure that this is the case? I mean, he could have died somewhere else and then they hung him up as like, you know, a symbol or, you know, as a warning to other people. I don't know. What does Kim say if I pick the non-fatal option here as well? The lieutenant falls silent abruptly.
Why do you say that?
I just took a whack in the dark. Yes, pretty much. I'm serious. I don't think this was the injury that killed him. I mean, apparently I can further investigate this option. So, I don't know. Are we sure that he was actually, you know, killed by hanging?
Okay. Why don't you think it was fatal?
Good question. I hope I have a good answer for you. I arrived at this conclusion through the psychic arts. Why weren't his hands tied? A big man like this, I would tie his hands when marching him to the gallows. Okay, that's actually a very good point. There's no reason, it's just a random guess. Yes, it was, but now I actually have a good answer for you.
Honestly, I'm not sure there weren't marks on his wrist. That part got blurry for me. The stench. But you are right, I was ready to call this. Now I think we should leave it empty, at least for the time being.
Alright, I think I can work with that.
Let's wrap this up. I pronounce this field autopsy over.
Okay. First, how did it go? Yeah, what do you think of this autopsy?
It was an irregular field autopsy. We did not establish cause of death, which is supposed to be the goal of an autopsy. But Personally, I do not see this as a parameter for success.
Right.
We also requested a toxicological screening. That was thorough. The results should arrive in a couple of weeks. if we are
Weeks?
lucky. I will not hold my breath.
Okay, well, in that case, this might not be useful.
We were thorough with the list of injuries, too. We described them all in detail. What is there to say? Given the circumstances, it was a professional field autopsy.
Well, not bad for my first field autopsy. The first I can remember, anyway. So, what now?
I need a copy of that autopsy form. Then I will drive him to Faubourg.
Alright, rip out a copy of the autopsy pages.
For processing.
He looks at the dead man one more time, then at the slip of red paper in his hand, then at the corpse again.
You tilt your head, also looking at the corpse. I'm sure we didn't get everything. There's always something.
Yeah, apparently there is. Perception. Even. Didn't establish probable cause. Felt a little bump on his head. Okay, apparently creepily touching his head actually paid off. Let's back him, take him away. It's a white check, so I may retry it. Sure, let's do it.
You run your hands over the victim's cold body, his limbs, his torso with its swollen organs. Maybe you should be more thorough.
I don't know, can we maybe look under his fingernails?
His fingernails have turned dark. They're chipped and quite long. There is dirt under them. That's all.
Okay.
Do you think we missed something?
Yeah, I think we probably missed something, and if I could pass that skill check, we might actually find it.
Okay, well, we are in livor mortis here. He is disintegrating. We need to refrigerate the body if we want to conduct another examination, and we need to do it fast.
Okay, but I kind of want to retry that skill check. How would I do that? Can we leave him here for a while longer?
If you want for this task to slowly become impossible, then yes. Otherwise, no. He's been hanging out far too long already. We need to ice him.
Okay, apparently I can't. So where do we find a fridge?
It would have to be industrial in size. Let's start by asking Gart at the Whirling in Rags and the Fritz store down at the gates. If they don't know, but only if all else fails.
Okay, apparently we can talk to Kuno about it.
Fuck are you looking at, Beano man? You want a piece of the Kuno? Wanna get fucked?
Oh, just shut up.
Only if all else fails.
Oh, apparently my internalization is almost done.
Kuno looks like he gets around. Knows Martinez. And its fridges too, probably.
Yeah, he might.
Or remember the buttons on that intercom over there? On the side of the building next to the Whirling? One was for Revachol Ice City. Perhaps it's a clue.
That actually might be a clue, indeed. But can I have another look at the body, please?
Hurry. This is one task we cannot sideline. With every hour, whatever we are looking for will become harder to find.
Okay, so I need even more perception. I just increased my perception, but it's not enough. However, I just got another skill point. So, what if I increase it even more? Let's level up my perception even higher. And let's go back. So can I retry this check now? I have a pretty good chance now. Oh, but I have to leave first? Alright.
Lonesome. Long way home.
And this is my
Here we go. Home awaits.
internalization.
Walk past Station 41 and through the market, past the Boogie Street spearhead to the other side of the lake, the frozen eye at the center of the district. Then past the video rental store on the corner. There, at the end of a street lined with pine trees, a small house no larger than a matchbox. 11 Voyager Road. You no longer live there. Those times are gone. And so are those people. Why did you come here? Why are you still here? And where's the dealer? You have to get back to work. That's all you have now.
So I remembered an address, but it's not the place where I live. Great. Just great. Okay, but I'm done internalizing this, so there's that. Yeah, I mean, now that I increased my perception, I definitely want to try that skill check. I guess I have to investigate the corpse again. However, this episode is getting, like, kind of long, so I'm going to make a cut here. And I will try to pass that skill check again in the next episode. And if I don't pass it, then I suppose I won't find out what this is all about. But for now, let's call it a day after this more or less successful autopsy. And as always, thank you for watching. See you again next time.